Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Experience Southern Illinois podcast. My name is Jared with So Ill Cinema, joined with my co-host
Allison Hassler, Southern Illinois Vacation Rentals.
And today we are on our Shawnee Hills Wine Trail tour. This is our sixth one now, and we are joined by Randy and Renee Feathers here at Feather Hills. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, to get started, we always ask in the beginning, how did you guys get started? How did you guys get into wine? Because you guys don't just work here and operate this. You guys do other stuff outside of the winery as well too. Pretty important stuff, pretty important work. Can you talk about that a little bit and then how you guys got here?
Yeah. We are both doctors. I work in the ER. She is in family medicine. But when I was in med school, I got into homemade winemaking. Literally just little 5-gallon carboys where I would get like a concentrated juice of Cabernet or Sauvignon Blanc or whatever and would make it basically in my closet. And quickly that became, one carboy became 2, became 3, became a whole bedroom.
When I met him, his house, he had a whole separate room full of carboys in a closet, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
We won't record this or anything, but were you like bootlegging at that time? And
It was just all, in residency, we all had the motto of work hard, play hard. And, we're all poor med students and residents. So, it was just easy for all of us to hang out and have fun that way. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you realize, did your friends get to try it and stuff like that, as you're making this?
Yeah. Actually,
our first date was a ride in his Jeep with a homemade bottle of wine.
Yeah.
That's romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did a Friendsgiving one year at her house, and all the wine served at the Friendsgiving meal was all wines that I had made. So
that is awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
So you started this new hobby, but were you pretty good at it kind of quickly, or was there a learning curve?
I mean, there's always a learning curve. One of the things that really attracted me, because I also tried making beer and other things, but what really attracted me to wine, other than the fact that I just enjoyed drinking wine, was that wine is all about chemistry. Mm-hmm. And obviously, to get into med school, and then when you're in med school, so much of what we do is just chemistry based.
Yeah.
I always had a strong background in that, and when I realized that, all of the stuff that I've been learning about the human body and everything else, and the diseases and pathology and everything, I'm like, it all kind of works in wine, because wine is alive. Mm-hmm. It's a living entity, and so the things just kind of went hand in hand, and the only way to get better stuff is to keep drinking it. So it just makes sense.
There's a lot of research and development. That's right. Lots of research and development. Yeah. So were you guys, when you met, were you living down in Southern Illinois?
In Memphis.
Yeah. In Memphis, Tennessee?
Wow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
And he already had a contract to come up here. So when I finished med school and went on to residency, we were still living in Memphis, but he finished residency and was coming up here. And one day he would end his shifts here at 8 p.m. and he'd drive back to Memphis. I'd have to be up at 4 a.m. to go to the hospital. And he rolls in at midnight and he says to me, "I found this vineyard for sale." And I was like, okay. And he's like, wakes me up, shows me this. And I was like, okay. And go to sleep. By 10 o'clock in the morning the next day, he's slept. I've been up for now 6 hours. And he's like, "What'd you think of that listing?" And I was like, oh God, I thought that was a nightmare. So it turned out, and it was this place. And we were planning to come up here to live anyway and work for a little while to pay off his contract, and really no intentions of staying long term at that point. But then we came up here because, also I will preface this by saying I thought all of Illinois was cornfields.
Yeah.
And
I'm from
okay,
Central
most
Illinois.
people-
I
most
thought the
people
same
do.
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and so did he.
Yeah.
And so then when we came here, I was like, oh, wait, I could live here.
It's kind of pretty down here.
Yeah, yeah. Like I grew up in New Hampshire, so like, I mean, it's not New Hampshire hills, but it's still like nice rolling hills, water, trees, like, and so initially when we came, we were like, okay, this could still be a hobby for us, like, and get into a little bit more, like the wine, like the grapes, growing the grapes, and didn't obviously think we would go as far as we have gone at this point then, but I mean, I'm glad we have, but that's kind of where it started, where we were like, oh, this will just be a great place to be, have a family, and do this just as a fun, like, side job.
And when we
So
bought
was
this
this-
place, they were making 800 gallons of wine a year. So we're like, this is very
It's
manageable.
a little more than what you were making in that room with.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
But now I'm up to over 5,000 every year.
Wow.
So, you know,
That's-
it's been a
that's a huge
jump,
increase.
And so it's definitely taken on a kind of a life of its own.
And
so
this-
definitely not what we had initially intended.
Yeah.
Would this have been like 2010-ish, or when was it?
17.
Yep.
2007.
2017.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
2017.
Yep.
Yeah, I finished residency, and that's when we
Yeah.
bought the place and then got thrown into the eclipse
Sure.
that was right
that
around that
summer,
time. Yeah. I guess
and we just
technically
took
Yeah,
off.
that's baptism by fire.
Yes,
right
it
there.
would.
found
definitely
I
was.
found this place in 2016, but we closed on it, in June.
Of 2017.
Of 2017, and then
Yeah.
the eclipse was 2 months later. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody that like stayed with you that worked at the winery before to kind of like help you through the process, or were you guys kind of on your own, or?
On our own, we had some great tasting room staff.
Yes, and we still
there's-
have them. They are
yeah.
the same people we've had from the very beginning.
Yeah, and they were
yeah.
here.
Even many years before we
Yeah.
bought it.
Yeah, I think Frankie was only here for like a year or two before we bought it, but Vicky
Yeah, Vicky
here
had been
since,
for multiple years.
2008 or
Yeah.
2009 or something. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
and
were
they're still
great,
our solid
yeah,
core here.
One thing, you know, when you're a hobby winemaker, no one teaches you is how to use commercial equipment.
Oh yeah.
And that was the struggle. Like you look at these, you know, like a press, or you look at a filter, and you're just like, I don't know how this thing's supposed to work. So you're doing a lot of YouTubing, you're doing a lot of like going to the other wineries and being like, can you show me how to use this? So it was definitely a steep learning curve with all of that. So
Yeah. So you guys moved down here. You have this location, but kind of how much longer? Because you have 2 locations now. What was the process of like, hey, this is awesome, but let's try something else. Let's do something else. So, when did that happen? When did you guys move into your
2020, because
2020,
everything bad happened in 2020.
cheers.
We
That's not totally.
no, it's not true.
Our daughter was born in
Yes, our daughter was born in 2020.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
the
Actually,
good thing that happened.
The day we walked out of the hospital with her was the day the state shut down.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah,
Oh,
that was-
wow.
Yeah, so she is a true COVID baby.
Yeah.
You got core memory.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a core memory enough, it was layered.
But no, so it's a really weird story, because that place, Russell Hill, you know, it had been sitting empty for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years at that point.
I never saw it open ever coming up
Yeah.
here, so it was pre 2017 for sure.
And I was randomly working in the hospital one day in the ER, and I had this patient come in, and I see the name, and I'm like, I know that name. This looks like a guy I went to high school with, but that's an hour and a half north of here. I'm like, why would he be here? And turns out he and his wife, who also went to school with me, lived down here and were working in Anna, so it was really weird. And so they told me that they were considering buying that place, and they wanted to contract with me to be their winemaker. And so we were like, yeah, we could do that. I could, you know, have like a separate label and make wine. That would be fun. And then some things happened. The contract fell through. They decided, you know, they ended up getting outbid at the last minute. But then the person that outbid them, you know, he backed out, and so then it was sitting there for sale still, and we were like, at this point we had gotten so excited about it, we had so much momentum, be like, man,
Sure.
this would be so cool to have this place open again, we could do so much, and that's just like, well, maybe we should just do it, and then we did. So
Yeah, and it's beautiful over there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. It's a great
Yeah.
view, especially. How many
It is a good
stories is
spot.
it?
if you count the lower
Patio,
area, it's
three,
a
really?
3-story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that upstairs is like
Yeah.
looking out
that,
over
that
it.
Yeah, it's
view
gorgeous.
over the terrace.
Yeah.
With the amphitheater. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Which is beautiful here too, and one of the ways that we met and have hung out is at one of your employees, Ethan's wedding. The next day, we came out and drove the
Yeah.
VW through the vineyard.
Yeah.
That was one of my
Some
favorite
great
shoots. I was
shots.
telling
I love
Randy
it.
ahead of time that I feel like I've used that clip in so many different highlight videos because it was such a picturesque
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so you guys do some live music as well too here.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about that. How often do you guys do it, and do you do it at both locations?
Yeah.
And-
Yep. Yeah, both locations. Here it depends. We'll do it. We won't do any the rest of the winter, but throughout the summertime we do Saturday, Sunday, both places. And over there we'll continue music through the winter because we have a better place to be inside for
It's a good indoor.
winter. Yeah.
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 And then you guys do like some other events and stuff. Like I know you had a book club. Are you still doing a book club?
Yes, we have
Okay.
a pretty big book club actually, and it's now going on for 5
Since
years.
COVID.
Since,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we started in COVID.
Yeah, because we had this
With
deck.
Ethan, actually.
I remember
Yeah,
Ethan telling me
yeah.
about it. That's
And
how I know.
you know, because we started it because we had the deck here, and we all just sat out on the deck, even in the colds, and all bundled up and put the heaters on out there, and it's been so fun. The group that's been with us, I mean, we have people that have been coming from the very beginning,
Awesome.
and it's a pretty fun mix because it's every member gets to choose a book, so you get a very
nice.
broad genre of things. A lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't choose myself to read, but I really enjoy it. So it is
Makes
a
you
fun one.
expand your horizons
And now
a
what
bit.
we've done too is it ends up being like
Reading
a
book of
potluck.
poetry this month.
Yeah, we're doing
That's
poetry
awesome.
this
I was
month.
going to ask you what you're
Yeah.
doing
Very
right now.
And that's actually Ethan's choice.
Of
Yeah.
course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
But yeah, it's been fun. I mean, because you got sci-fi, you've got biographies, you've got. I like to do wine fiction books. I mean, we've got
That's
lots of just
awesome.
different stuff. And then like she was saying, it's turned into just a potluck.
Potluck. We
And-
usually have it's a first Thursday of the month, and we have everybody brings something to eat.
And we
just
try
sit and
to,
enjoy.
if there's anything in the book that centers around like food,
Mm-hmm.
we try to recreate some of those recipes to,
That's
kind of
awesome.
just highlight whatever,
Yeah.
tie into whatever we were reading. So it's been a lot of fun.
So every month is a different book?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to step up my reading game.
Yeah, I would
Audible.
too.
Audible, there you go.
Totally
yes.
do.
I do have a lot of car
I
time.
had
so-
to, I had to
Same
call
here.
out Ethan and be like, Ethan, I can't get this poetry on Audible. Fortunately, they're really easy, quick reads, and I read them to my daughter at bedtime.
That's
and
awesome.
She put her right to sleep.
That's awesome. So you guys serve wine. So what do you serve here, and what do you serve over there?
So here, so we've tried to distinguish the two. So this is our vineyards location, and so this is where we want to really truly highlight what we are about, and
Yeah.
that's the grapes that we're growing and the wines we're making. Here we don't do any beer. We do a sangria, but we use our red wine in the sangria, and then we just
And it's
do,
made fresh every day.
Yep, and then we just do like little things like this, like little charcuterie trays. And the whole idea here is, this is where we want that one-on-one experience where you're talking with the person behind the bar, you're learning, how we're growing these grapes, what we're doing to make the wines that we're making, and then it's just such a beautiful and tranquil spot. Like we want you to come out here and unplug from everything.
Yeah.
Like cell service is bad, like technically yes, we have Wi-Fi, but we don't advertise it because
Sure.
we want you to come out here and we want you to just be like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, like
Yeah.
the sunsets that we get here are just incredible. Just the view with the water in the background. I mean, it's you know, I mean, you'll be sitting there at the back deck, and deer will just come up and start drinking out of the pond. I mean, it's such a scene it's almost like a storybook.
Yeah.
And then the other place is more of the we just want you to come and enjoy everything. So I mean, we do have a full kitchen there. We do serve other, you know, beer and cocktails and of course our wines. And you can still get that one-on-one experience with our staff members, and they'll teach you about the wines. But this is more of the intimate spot. So if you're really, really serious about learning wine and learning about the Shawnee Hills, like this is the place you want to come to experience that. And the other place is, you know, if you're hanging out, you know, with your friends for a weekend, or you're down and you're just wanting to have a good time, like that's a good spot to be. So.
Yeah, they got some diverse taste and stuff like that. You got some different options and stuff like that.
So I have some rapid fire questions for you, because as a host on the people that want to come to Southern Illinois, they have kind of a top 5 question on their wine when they decide they're going to go to a winery or multiple wineries. They have a series of questions that I usually get asked. One of them is, are you pet friendly?
Absolutely.
Okay,
As
at
long
both
as the
places?
pets are friendly.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And actually, if you want a story, this wine here is called Sam's Choice. And so Sam was her schnauzer when we met, and Sam didn't like anybody that she would bring around until I walked in, and he came and jumped right in my lap, and was just, from that moment, we were best friends.
I was like, all right, guess this guy's a good
That
one
was
to keep
also why
around.
she decided to keep around. But he unfortunately passed away. That's why he has this bottle. But I was Sam's choice, and I say that Feather Hills would not exist without Sam, because obviously that's how this happened.
Yeah.
So we have always been pet friendly. We have, if you come here, we have multiple dogs on the property. All the time. I don't think we've ever had less than 3 dogs. We have cats. At some point soon, if my daughter wins, we're going to have chickens, and if my vineyard manager wins, we're going to have sheep. So we are very pet friendly.
You're real close to a petting zoo.
Yes, right now.
I know.
And now I'm curious what the bet is that either one could win.
I mean, there's no, I'm sure it's just going to happen. I don't even think there's a bet.
Well, they'll both win.
Yeah.
But yeah, so over there, we were also pet friendly. Because we do have a full kitchen there, we don't allow pets inside. So we're just strictly outside. Here, we're a little more lenient, especially in the wintertime.
And then just should be on a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are
very pet friendly,
100% pets. So.
And speaking of that amazing kitchen, do either of your properties allow people to carry in their own coolers of snack items or anything like that?
Yeah. Here, for sure. Yeah, over at the other place, since we have the full kitchen, we don't allow picnics over there.
Yeah.
Over here, one of my staff also makes really great charcuterie boxes that we sell. So we have those every weekend as well. But here you can just bring whatever you'd like.
Yep.
Awesome.
And over there, we do a lot of catered events. So we'll do like birthday parties, wedding rehearsals, whatever. And so we do allow like specialty things. So if you've got like a special cake or dessert or something like that, we do allow that. But as far as just all the food, we just, for health code laws, we kind of say, just gotta eat what we have. So
Yep, makes sense.
yeah.
Handicap accessibility at either property.
Both I think is good. We have through here, I mean, the only downside at the vineyard location is it's a gravel parking lot, but still all flat, and you can get kind of anywhere. And over at the other place, we have got a ramp to get inside and down to the lower deck too. So
And both places have ADA accessible bathrooms.
Yep.
Awesome.
Great. And then, is it child friendly?
Absolutely.
That is a big one that we get from out of town, where I'm
Yes.
like, are you kidding me? Like, my kids, we
My
were
kids-
nomads. They were raised
First of
as me
all,
and my husband
my
explored
kids
the
are
wineries.
my kids are here all
Yeah.
the time. But over at the 51 location, we actually made a little kids corner underneath the
That's
stairs
great.
that has, it's got books and toys and stuff that we kind of keep replenishing with toys I want to get out of my house. And I throw in there. So we definitely encourage that. And I love it when I go over there and I see kids utilizing that and seeing kids just running around on the property. Because we have a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and this is our life. So
they are heavily involved in the winemaking process.
Yeah.
I mean, they ride the tractors with me when I'm out in the vineyard. They are in the cellar with me when we're crushing, and they'll try and do punch downs. And
so it's definitely a family affair.
What a
It's
great
definitely meant to
memories.
be super kid friendly, and I hope people realize that. It's that's I feel like how all wineries should be. It's just a fun place to be.
Yeah, and a lot of them, I think one of the last ones we did was Starview, and Lily's out there all the time. A lot of the wineries do have these family friendly feels, and you walk into them and you just feel at home when you see that. Yeah. You see the animals running around, and you see the kids and stuff like that, and it's just, I think it's so cool that you guys are creating environments where families are making memories. Families are making memories, but then you guys are also making memories as well too. I'm just thinking how cool it would be to grow up with a winery and be able to do that kind of stuff.
And that was one of always the things that drew me to wine country in general, especially European wines, is alcohol has such a bad stigma in America. It just always has. But like in Europe, I mean, wine is just, it's part of life. You go to France or Italy or wherever, and everybody's just, they're not just out there just getting trashed. It's just the way of their culture, and it's the way like they spend time celebrating and building those memories, and it starts at a young age. The kids are out there and they're a part of it, and that's just kind of the culture that we just want to kind of perpetuate. We want this thing where it's all about family and friends and memories and love and
Well, you're doing it, and it's awesome. One thing I do want to talk to you guys about, because the whole reason why we're doing this series is for the 30th anniversary for the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail. So you guys were talking a little bit, kind of backtracking here, you were talking about getting started and stuff like that. So immediately, were you part of the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail?
Yeah, so because of the place we bought, Orlandini Vineyards, they were on it. We essentially got grandfathered in because we just took over their business at that point, and we stayed as Orlandini for a year, and then we decided to rebrand and we renovated this place. And change it to our name, so it was we're the Feathers, so we might as well be Feather Hills. Absolutely. So yes, from the very beginning, which was sort of getting thrown into the fire too. You don't realize what's going on, and you have to learn the whole because it's a great organization, and it's a very well run for the most part. That we work together very well, and so learning with all of them was great too, because again, trying to go from like just making wine in the closet to being actually commercial winemakers was a big step. And the whole trail itself was super great in that sense.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my question: is how pivotal, how crucial was being part of the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail to your growth and the way that you have operated over time?
It was huge, and I look at, Jim at Blue Sky, and I look at Brett at Starview, and those two, and Scott, I guess, at Kite Hill too, because I utilized him a lot too. But those three were very, very. I relied on them all the time. They probably got sick of listening. Like whether it was like talking to Jim about business type stuff, or talking to Brett and Regina about just vineyard wine questions, or how to file certain government reports or something. And I'd pick Scott's brain about wines. I'd be like, I don't know, there's just something seems off about this. And everybody they were so just accommodating, and just be like, yeah, come over, bring this over, whatever. We'll walk through it. I'll come over and see what you've got going on. So it was huge as far as I guess building that trust and that rapport with everybody, so that I felt like, we are really in this together. We're not like competing against ourselves, and certainly we have like little competitions amongst ourselves.
You
but
got to.
Sure.
We got to, but
Yeah.
it's not like like dagger in the chest.
Like a
kind of
rivalry.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
more
it's-
like
Well, it's a perfect example of a rising tide rises all ships.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, definitely.
it's, that's a perfect example of
yeah.
this,
Well,
what we hope that we have Southern hospitality,
Yes.
and that's definitely a showcase of it.
I just saw Jim last night, and I want to go back and do a montage now, because every time we've asked this question, how has the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail helped you? It's always, well, I talked to Jim, and I realized
talked to Jim.
Jim is like the father of the Shawnee Hills
Yeah.
Wine Trail at this point.
Especially this side of the wine trail.
Yeah.
Because he has been so instrumental in so much over here. So
And it's awesome just how wineries support one another. Not too long ago, I was at Peach Barns actually last night that they had, and saw Regina and Brett and Barb and new Jim, and it's just and constantly if I go to wine, I went to Blue Sky's 20th anniversary they had, and saw you guys and saw a whole table full of wine owners, and it is a perfect example of how rising tides raise all ships. And so you guys do some food over there, you do some food here. You like to cook.
I do.
And
We both
I've picked that up over
Yeah,
time.
we both do. We
Yeah.
both like to cook.
So have you ever inspired any of your menu or anything like that, or?
All
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year for the 30th anniversary, we did 3 winemakers dinners, and we only served our wine at the initial one, but we did all of the food at both the second and third dinner. And most of what we served at these dinners are meals that we cook for ourselves all the time, and so the wineries would bring us bottles that they thought they would want to serve at the dinners, and then we would just go through and try them, and she'd be like, oh, we should do this salad, or be like, oh, we should do this dessert, and that was kind of how we did everything. So
In COVID,
yeah,
since there was nothing going on, what we would do we would go to different restaurants and just get a whole bunch of different things and just pair our wines with them. And so there's a good portion. We've got a good blog on our website about all of those.
It's called Pair This COVID Style.
Yeah,
And it was weird. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And unfortunately,
Yeah.
some of those restaurants don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But they didn't survive all of COVID.
Yep.
It was a tough time.
But it was fun.
So tell me a little bit about the wines that you offer here. Kind of what is your range?
So, this is one of those things that, I say wine is a journey. And when we bought this place, all I wanted to do was make sure our wines were good. And I was like, we're just going to have good dry wines. And, we've got some vines here, but I'm just going to bring in grapes, and it's going to be, whatever. That was kind of the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the concept of terroir is something that's hard to explain to people if they've never experienced it. And I've read about it, and I was like, I don't know what terroir is. And
What is terroir?
So they say terroir is basically the soil, the climate, everything in your little, basically personal ecosystem that contributes to whatever it is you're growing. And it was a term coined down in France. And so I'd always read that, and I would be like, oh yeah, the terroir, but until you really are invested in it, and you've got the dirt under your fingernails,
your
and
hands in the
and
soil,
your hands in the vines, and then you're taking those grapes and you're in the cellar, and you're molding them, or letting them kind of mold themselves, and you're just kind of pushing them along to the final product. You don't really understand what terroir is until then.
Yeah.
Especially when you start taking what you've done and you go to your friends and you try their stuff, and then you start seeing where they're similar, where they're different. And so when that finally clicked, I realized what the Shawnee Hills was all about. And Ted Wickman helped create the Shawnee Hills AVA, 20 years ago, I should know this, 20 some years ago, I don't know. But there's a reason why areas are designated American viticulture areas, and this area is one of the few in the country that's designated, and it is a very special area because of the limestone, rock that we have, and the well drained soil, and the weather, and all of that contributes to these grapes to just bring out these fantastic expressions of the fruit. And when I finally realized that, that's when I realized that, okay, this is more than just making good wine. Like this is growing grapes that matter, that make a delicious wine. And so that's when we started expanding our vineyard, and we went from just having our Chamberson and our Vignoles to now our Vidal and our Niagara and our Cabernet Franc. We're going to plant a couple other varieties coming up in the next few years. But so our big focus is, especially when all of our vineyards mature, is to be as much estate grown as possible. And then whatever is not estate grown, try to stay, if possible, within the Shawnee Hills AVA. And if we can't do that, at least try to incorporate Illinois. And so yes, the Cabernet that you're drinking is phenomenal.
Delicious.
Those grapes came from Napa Valley. If you can't make a good Cabernet from a Napa Valley grape, you probably shouldn't be making wine. And I enjoy drinking it, but it's not what I'm proud of. What I'm proud of is, like our Chamberson Rosé, our Chamberson Reserve, our Vignoles Estate. These are wines that we, in the winter when it's freezing outside, we're out there in our coveralls and we're pruning these vines back, getting them ready for the upcoming year, and then all summer long we're, basically just treating them as our babies. And then, come August, September, October, we're harvesting them and making it into this delicious beverage that we all enjoy drinking.
Yeah.
So.
And we've talked about it in multiple podcasts, but I just was like, why would grapes grow well here? Like there is so much stone, there is so much rock, underneath, and come to find out through these podcasts that like grapes perform best under pressure, under stress.
Yeah, under stress.
And so that's awesome. You talked about the wine pairings earlier, the dinners that you did. Is that something that is continuing on into 2026?
I think so. Yeah, we talked about it at our last wine trail meeting, and it seems to be something that everybody wants to move forward with.
That's something we really haven't hit on in these podcasts at all. And so I'm curious, do you have to be members at the wineries? Is it something that you guys, does the wine trail put it out, the wineries put it out individually? How does that work?
Usually it's a Shawnee Hills wine trail. These ones we've done this past year have all been Shawnee Hills Wine Trail events, so those have been through there. And it's just tickets. You just get your tickets, and typically we've left them, I think the very last one we did get up to 70 people.
72.
Oh, wow.
Inside at our place, we typically try to do no more than 40, so it is a little bit more intimate. But it was nice to be outside in the very last one, so we got up to 70. But so yeah, they sell out when we do put them on. So
and what are they like? Like for instance, what was like the last one like? What was served? And sorry, I'm putting you on the spot because I did not warn you for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to recall.
I know.
I'm gonna say this is the biggest. That was the biggest dinner we have ever cooked for. And I remember getting there at like 8 a.m. because our main entree was these turkey. So to back up, the first two dinners we had a lot of people who wanted to come, but because of alpha gal, who, if you don't know what that is, that's
the tick.
Horrible.
It's a tick-borne illness
Yeah.
that you can't eat red meat, and then a lot of our dishes would also have gluten type, in the food, and so we had a lot of people who are like, we would love to come to this, but we're gluten,
can't eat half of the stuff on there.
So we're like, all right, this last dinner, we're going to open it up, and it's going to be gluten free. It's going to be no red meats. If you got alpha gal, you'll be there. So I remember getting there early in the morning and started making these turkey meatballs. And we did a mushroom risotto where we got all the mushrooms from Flyaway Farms up the road from Mike. We had wonderful lion's mane, and they were just wonderful, big, huge, just blocks that we just got to chop up. They were.
Yeah, so that was like it was a turkey meatball over a mushroom risotto with a pomegranate sauce.
Yes.
That was that
sounds
one.
I'm getting hungrier.
And that was, you'll have to remind me on what we served with that with, though. I'm trying to think.
That one we did Kite Hills Chamberson.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Chamberson.
Yep.
And it went phenomenally.
Yep. And then we had, we did these ahi tuna tacos that had
Oh, that's my favorite.
like a sesame ginger dressing. And that was with Blue Skies Vignole. And then we did, what was the salad with Hana's? Because we used
It
to
was yep. There's been so many salads.
Yeah.
I'm like,
With these-
Oh, kale and apple.
yes,
Yeah,
it was the kale and apple salad with
It was this like lemon honey.
with goat cheese
or-
and
yeah.
it was a lemon honey vinaigrette. Yeah.
And then Donnie, Hana's husband, that's how everybody knows him. It's just Hana's husband. He actually made the dessert. It was this black cake, which was this kind of like rum fruit infused cake that was amazing. And we
served
did
it.
it with
Pomona's strawberry
dessert
wine.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
fantastic. But yeah,
Pour that over ice cream.
Oh, I bet that would be really good over ice cream.
And it was late September. The weather was amazing. It was
We
outside.
just-
Had the string lights,
Yeah.
and it was just
So-
such a wonderful night.
Is everybody getting served at the same time? Or oh wow,
Yeah. So
that's a whole different
Yeah.
ball game
So-
than
so
in
the-
and out. Over
So the
all
winemaker,
plated.
the
Wow.
winemaker, and winery owners will get up. They will talk about their wines, and then we'll get up and we'll talk about the food and the pairing and how they go together. And while that's going on, they're getting
People are getting
served.
served.
What a great
we probably
experience.
had like, and just other winery members come and just volunteer for it. And so we probably had like 6 to 8 of us just grabbing plates and just putting them out. So everybody got served pretty much instantly, every dish. So everything just went off with a hitch. But this time it was great.
That's awesome. I'm curious, did you make the food first and figure out what wines paired with that, or did you have to know what the wines were and then made the menu based off of that?
Kind of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things we knew we wanted to do is we wanted to showcase the best of Shawnee Hills. So we knew there was going to be double gold winners and above, like in wine competitions. So we had an idea of which wines everybody was going to be submitting. So you kind of already have this idea, like, okay, if I'm doing a Traminette, I want some kind of either a salad that's got like some bitter greens in there, so you get those like fruity and florally characteristics that kind of tone those down. Or if you've got like a real big bold red, like I've got to have something that's going to be good with lots of fat and substance and spices that can kind of counteract that. So we kind of had ideas, but yeah, really it's like, okay, let's try this. Oh, maybe we should try this. And sometimes, it doesn't always work. We've had some instances where we're like,
Nope.
this is
start
going to
over.
go so well, and then you try it and you're like, oh God, no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's some wine that you would have never expected to go well with that. And I'm like, okay. So.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about events that you have coming up. So when does the book club meet?
First Thursday of the month.
Okay.
Yep, every month. And all are welcome. You just pop in and just join in. And we've got a Facebook page for it specifically, so you can see what we're reading that month. But
Read between the vines.
Yep.
Read between the vines.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
So.
And then one of our my events, my yearly
Your-
events, is we do a Harry Potter day,
Oh.
and it's my most fun.
So what
thing.
do you do on a Harry Potter day?
So this past year, I felt like we really did well. We've done it now. I think this was our 5th year. We took a couple years off, but this year we really went. It kind of just. I hope it will keep growing, because what I ended up doing was I had multiple stations where one was like the potions class, and so I actually had my nanny, who she put on a little potions class for the kids, and they were able to make slime. I had Honeydukes, and that's where you went and got your candy. I had the herbology room, and actually one of the ladies from, I'm gonna forget what her name was now, from Murfreesboro. She's got a great plant shop in Murfreesboro. And I hate that I can't think of to say who it was at this moment, but she came out and sold little plants, and it was great. She sold out just these tiny little plants for everybody. And then we had Hagrid's Hut, and actually had Save Them All Rescue came out and had dogs like available for adoption. And then we always do a costume contest with it. And then our big thing is we obviously do butterbeer.
Yeah,
and
we also had the sorting.
and I had a sorting hat this
hat
year. Yes. So, and it'll just keep growing, but this year was great, and it was our best year yet.
So it's already happened this year.
Yeah.
What time of year does that normally happen?
Typically, beginning of September.
Okay.
So it's usually sometime
The first year we tried it.
on Harry Potter's birthday, and his birthday is August 31st or July 31st.
July 31st, yeah.
So we try to do it like July 31st, like first weekend of August, and
if
it
you've
was
ever worn a Hagrid costume,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
All the cloaks and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
it was awful.
So we've kept moving it, and so now we're about like beginning of September has been the best time for it. So
That's awesome. Do you have any events coming up in this winter?
We are currently brainstorming with Blue Sky and Wickman's to do a Valentine's event together, the three of us.
Awesome.
We're kind of thinking like a progressive wine and tasting, like food and wine event. It's not 100% set yet, because that's also another event up in Northern Illinois, and some of the Blue Sky folks will be gone. So we're trying to figure out the logistics if we can pull this off. But if we can, I think it'll be really great, because it's going to be an opportunity to actually go into the wine cellar and taste wines out of the barrels and the tanks, and then have like either an appetizer or a main course or a dessert, and then you go through the three places. So
that
that's
would
kind
be
of a
really
big one that
fun.
we're trying to see if we can pull off this year. And then the wine trail as a whole is working on a bingo kind of scavenger hunt.
Oh, I love that.
Where every winery will have a few different things that we offer, such as, maybe go down by the tractor and take a selfie with it, and then if you do that, you get a little token to put on your bingo card. And then if you get bingo, you'll get like a prize and type stuff. So a few different things that's being worked on right now for the winter. I think will be fun. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then you said you're still doing music inside at the other location, at the 51 location.
Yep. So we do every third Thursday we do open mic.
Okay.
oh yeah.
And then we do live music on Saturdays and Sundays over there. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One question I like to ask, because my background is drone videos of the Shawnee National Forest and stuff like that, and I know you are both very, very busy people. I also know you don't sleep very much. I've heard that as well too.
Probably guilty, yeah.
But have you had the chance to explore the Shawnee National Forest or any of the state parks or anything like that since you? Yeah. So what are some of your favorite places to go? What is near here? So if somebody was coming here but wanted to make an adventure out of it, what would be some spots local? I should know this, but I'm putting you guys on the spot.
Panther's Den for sure is
Okay.
super close. So I usually direct the folks that stay here, Panther's Den, and then Giant City.
Yeah.
Because obviously Giant City you can get like anywhere from like that little 1 mile little loop that I take my kids on a lot, and we'll go on a Sunday, do the little 1 mile loop, and then go to chicken dinner.
Oh, yeah.
On a Sunday afternoon. And or you could do up to like, I don't know, 8 to 10 miles. I've never done a big hike up in Giant City, but I know you can get anywhere up from those. Mine is mostly a 1 mile hike with my 4 and 5 year old.
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same way. I have no excuse. I'm normally by myself.
Devil's Kitchen has some really great little trails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're really adventurous, and I wouldn't recommend it right now during hunting season, but once the hunting season ends, if you just come right down here to the base of our property, there's a little creek bed, and if you follow that down, we've got a bluff line that extends all the way around our property and has some amazing sights down there. There's a cave that you can crawl into. There's a waterfall that we have pictures of us back in January a few years back, and the entire waterfall is frozen.
That's
and when
awesome.
you look at the photo, when you first look at it, you can't even see us because the waterfall is so big.
So tall.
It's an amazing hike down there, and there's just bluffs, and I mean we have people that come down and go do bouldering down there, and it's such a wonderful spot. And then when you finally make it back to the top, you've got wine right here. So
That's awesome.
Is it Shawnee National Forest or is it part of your
it is,
property?
yeah,
Or-
it's a little both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
basically, where the waterfall drops off the edge, that's the end of our property.
Okay.
And then when you get to the bottom of it, that's where the Shawnee Forest starts. So if
That's
you're
good.
on
That's
top
good to
of
know.
it.
I was also kind of curious. I'm like, before we advertise this, want to make sure we're not going across anybody else's
Yeah,
property or anything.
So,
I know you feel comfortable. You probably know the neighbors
Yeah,
and stuff like
you're like,
that.
it happens all the
and you
time.
will see, because a lot of the neighbors, they do have no trespassing signs. So you'll see, because there is that issue where people will come down and they're hunting on national forest, and then next thing you know, they're on
Yeah.
private property. So it's pretty easy to see where the lines are out there.
For the most part, I don't think they mind hikers. It's
Yeah,
the
it's,
hunters coming out to
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
property that they don't
Yeah.
want.
For sure.
My last rapid fire question, which was, do you stay open during the winter months?
Yeah, and that's actually part of being part of the Shawnee Wine Trail. We must be open all year round, at least on weekends.
I don't think in 6 episodes we've had that mentioned.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not know
Yes.
that. Okay.
We did put in a little clause in there that people can close for up to 2 weeks in one time. But
Sure.
mostly
Family
that's during like
vacation
the
or something.
holiday
Yeah.
times that nobody's going to come out anyway. So it's like not a huge deal. So, but yeah, being part of the wine trail, you have to be open every weekend, at least some portion of the week you have to be open.
And so what are your guys', do your hours of operation change during the winter? Do you change times at all or anything like that? Or is it pretty consistent?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here at the vineyard, we'll probably drop down to Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Currently, we're still open on Thursdays. But then over at the other location, we're open 7 days a week.
Yep.
Awesome. Do you only sell your wine on site, or can they buy it on your do you have a website or other places where they can get it as well too?
So we do offer online shipping to
Okay.
most states, not all, but most. And you can get that right through our website. We just recently started getting into more of the wholesale kind of side of the business. So we're in Pinch Penny and they're in Carbondale. We're in Speakeasy and Lucky's in Marion. We're at a couple of different restaurants in the area. We're hoping to expand that, but kind of slowly working our way into that side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has been awesome to watch you guys grow and to see how, because of my friendship with Ethan, who worked for you, I got to meet you guys pretty early on before I met really anybody else in the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail. And it's just been so cool to see your story, the way you guys have grown and changed over time and adapted. Do you have any big plans for the future or anything like that that maybe you don't want to disclose?
I hope not.
I do hope to plant some more grapes around on the property. One of the things that has really fallen away in the Shawnee Hills area especially is grape growers. A lot of the original people that planted all the vines back in the late 80s, early 90s, they're all in their 80s, 90s now themselves, or they've already passed on. And so a lot of those vineyards got ripped out. Nobody took them over. So our vineyards have been declining significantly in this area. So I definitely am hoping to continue to expand our vineyard production here. And eventually it'd be nice to have enough that we could even sell to other people if possible. That is an area that I wish the state would get behind more and really kind of give incentives, incentivize farmers because they do that with all your row crops. They're doing that with a lot of other specialty crops. They're not doing that with grapes. Every other major wine industry across the country, whether you're looking at Texas, Missouri, the Finger Lakes, California, Iowa, they are getting so much money from the state to incentivize new growers to go and put more vines in the ground. And you look at their wine industry regions there, and they are just growing exponentially. And what we're seeing here is we're seeing a decline. And a lot of that's because our vineyards are going away and people aren't planting. So, that's an area where I wish we could get more involvement with other people, is just more vines in the ground, more grapes out there to make delicious wines.
Yeah, and I've heard another winery say that as well. Do you feel like there's some momentum within Shawnee Hills Wine Trail to push that right now?
I think so, just because, if perfect example is you look at the Illinois State Wine Competition, and it doesn't matter who wins the Governor's Cups, who wins the big awards, 90% of those wines are being grown here. So it may be wineries from, up around the Chicago area, but they're not winning on grapes they're growing there. They're winning on grapes that were grown down here.
Interesting.
So, we've
And
got...
part of what our wine trail also wants to focus on too is the Shawnee Hills AVA. And so part of our bylaws are that you have to grow or you have to produce a certain amount of your wines that are grown here in the Shawnee AVA. And, it's a percentage, and obviously we all can't, because of the declining amount of grapes that are grown around here, we all can't do 100%, but we all want to have a goal that we do at least a portion, and a good portion of what we grow, of what we make is actually grown here in Southern Illinois, or the AVA.
Yep.
Okay, this can be off the record if it needs to be. Did you help write these bylaws? Because I'm already sold paid
No,
for.
I'm just in on them.
I think they make such a strong argument for
Actually, George wrote most of them.
building.
Yeah.
Okay.
George Pomona?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I
And
think
we did
that
recently have went over the bylaws, and because we all realized they had not been gone over since the first time they had been developed. But honestly, we actually upped the percentage that was already listed. We upped the percentage, saying no, we all commit to producing wines from the AVA more than what they were doing before, because that's the commitment here in at the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail.
I like a good strong bylaw. Yeah, that's good.
So, and I'm kind of curious. So you talk about the grape decline. Do you think it is education? Do you think it is weather, climate? Do you think it is soil health? What is you think perpetuating that?
So, it's a few things. Number one, yes, I do think education has a lot to do with it. Back when what everybody would call the glory days of the Shawnee Hills, as far as grape production was, you had both SIU and Shawnee Community College that had very vibrant, thriving viticulture programs. And so, Gary Orlandini, that started this place originally, was the Orlandini Vineyards. He was one of the professors there. You had SIU's program with Brad Taylor, and you had people like Ted Wickman and Guy Renzaglia, who were heavily involved in teaching and training. Alan Dillard was another big one, and they were really building up the education about how to grow these. And I think one of the things that we saw was UC Berkeley, UC Davis, they came out with a lot of, Cornell did a similar study where they found that, in order to be a profitable vineyard, you've got to have at least an 8-acre vineyard, just because of the cost of labor and spraying and just everything it takes to do that. And a lot of the vineyards around here were 2, 3, 4-acre vineyards. And so people, especially as inflation continued to go up, they were having to pay more for their chemicals and the cost of their tractors and the cost of their labor, but the prices of the grapes weren't really going up. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And then just when the programs died, you just got less people enrolled in schools, so they're not even learning about that aspect of farming. They're learning about row cropping or maybe the bigger orchard crops like your apples and your peaches. So that has a lot to do with it. And then, anytime you're competing against places like California and Washington State and Oregon, where they're producing, here, if you've got a 10 or 12 acre vineyard, you've got a big vineyard there, they've got 200 acres, 500 acres. So when you're trying to compete with fruit and pricing, it's hard to be like, well, why would I pay this person this amount when I can buy, Cabernet from California at, 60% the cost and make a cheaper wine. So that has a lot to do with it as well. So that's why I think it's important that we really educate people on what makes the Shawnee Hills so special. Because, you look at France, you look at Burgundy, you look at Bordeaux, those areas aren't very big. But they're charging insane amount of prices for their grapes, and they've got wines that are just ridiculously expensive. But everybody knows, like, if you've got a Grand Cru from Burgundy, you're paying a hefty sum.
Yeah.
And we have all of the stuff it takes to create phenomenal wines. It's just educating the people out there and letting them know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
it creates a burden on me as a videographer. It's like, there's a lot of things that I think, unless people tell the story and document it, some of those things, some of that education, some of those stories will be lost when those people are gone. And
Absolutely.
so I think it is important to continue that, because I worked with off subject, but I worked with a produce farmer for a little while, and he was a third generation produce farmer, and he had so many little tips and tricks. Like, he would tear a matchbox in half and put some matches down next to his peppers to add more sulfur into the soil and stuff like that. And it's just little stuff like that that you pass down over time that makes the wine and the industry in Southern Illinois what it is. So
that's definitely all the more reason why there should be subsidies for this area, because you guys see with your own eyes how many more hundreds and thousands of dollars that is pumped into the tourism industry that is benefiting not just the wineries, but all of the places to stay, places to eat, places to experience, and the points of interest. And those money, that money is just exponentially used when people know about, like, this is an authentic vineyard that we're going to go to. And I think it would come full circle as a benefit to our government that could offer that to begin with.
And that's the authenticity is the thing. So for our honeymoon, when we first got married, we went to Napa Valley, so this was 10 years ago, and we had a great time. And we were very new to the wine industry, and they take you out there, and every winery, they wine and dine you and everything. And it was a great time. We went back 10 years later, and we realized the just how fake it is, because none of these wineries are owned by families. They're all owned by Seagram's Gem and Coke and Disney and these just huge corporations. And these people don't care anything about you. Like, all they want to do is sell you their wine. And that's the difference that what the Shawnee Hills is creating, is that we are offering authentic experiences where you get to come in and you get to meet the families that break their backs in these vineyards, and they make these wines, and you get to connect with them, and you get to hear their stories, and they get to learn about you, and that is what makes this place so special.
You guys have your story, but you bring these people in and they become part of the story, and you become part of their story as well too. And going back to us talking about creating memories and stuff like that, opening this place up, and that's what's been the most special thing I think about talking to the wineries on the wine trail, is just that you are, we constantly say you are kind of the ambassadors for Southern Illinois a lot of times. I knew about the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail well before I ever knew about the Shawnee National Forest, actually. And I actually knew about the fried chicken as well, too, because my mom would go down every summer on a girls' trip. They'd get a bus and they'd hit all the wine trail, and then they'd hit fried chicken on Sunday before they drove back. And so, but you truly are, in a huge way, putting Southern Illinois on the map, and it's been so gratifying for us to be able to come and hear these stories, and to be able to document this as well too, so that we can hold on to this and come back. But I'm so appreciative that you guys let us come in today and talk to you and hear your story. And
I'm appreciative of you, man, because we love your videos, like because. You know, we go back and forth. It's like, man, we want so many more people to come down here and experience it. But then we're like, but do we really?
It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
We really do have some of the most beautiful backyards, I think, in the country.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we were just talking about this last night. It is a double-edged sword, because I'll go and do a video at a place and I'm like, I have the whole place to myself, and the next time I go out there, it's a full parking lot. I'm like, I shouldn't have done so well on that video. But no, it is, and it's cool that more and more people are finding out about Southern Illinois, finding the things that we have to offer, the winery, the Shawnee National Forest, the state parks, and all that stuff. And
absolutely,
just so appreciate what you guys bring to this area, and just want to say thank you guys for having us out tonight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
It has been.
Awesome.
And I'd rather see you here at my winery than in the hospital.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Should be a slogan over the door.
Yes.
So awesome.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.